It's going to cause your voice to come in as it bounces off the things in the room at a different pitch and tone. You're going, that's not me. That doesn't sound like me. Yes, it does. Sounds like the you that the rest of us hear. Just doesn't sound like the you that you hear. So I learned about 3 years ago to not give a shit anymore about how much I hated my voice. I don't like my voice at all, but I just don't care. This is a form of, socializing for me. I feel like I can help people and give advice on certain things that I know about and interact with people. And as Apocalypse will tell you, I take this show to learn. Well, I'll look up shit I know nothing about and we'll just discuss it. And we'll use the science of logic and reasoning, of critical thinking, to look at news and anything else. She is innocent. Yes, I've heard her on Three Guys, One Mic. I was so impressed that I asked her if she would call into my show on Sunday. Did she call in, Paul? By the way, you guys got to check out Paul's show, and I will share the link to his show and Apocalypse. I don't think Val does her own. If you do, Val, please let me know. I will also share that in the Facebook announcement for this show, like I always do. There's Paul Dembski's show. Paul Dembski, up in Newport, Vermont. I used to live about 20 miles south of him in Island Pond, Vermont. And I lived with a lady more commonly known as Beelzebub. Yeah, she would breathe fire. She would shit dragons. It was a terrible time, terrible time. But it's funny because when you fall for someone, regardless of your reasoning, you can get some unpleasant surprises, very unpleasant surprises. And I got some. Turns out, I'm actually writing a fiction story about it. So now this is all lies that I'm about to say. Turns out she was a whore. I love saying that word because I don't get to say it often. That would be whore. She was a whore. She'd sleep with anybody. Didn't know it. Went ahead, remember this is a fiction story. Went ahead and married her. Found out that her whoreness had no real limits. It was just, had a guy in this fiction book call me one time and say, and I think I can quote, "Hey buddy, just wanted you to know that you're not the only guy your wife is fucking," unquote. Now, picture yourself, all right? You're a man, you're raising your daughter alone because your wife's out of state, training for this new job, and you get that on your message machine. One is bewildered, one is flustered, and one uses star 69. And when one uses star 69 in that case, if you're me, you tell the person that answers, you need to tell me the whole story or your safety cannot be guaranteed at this point. And I got the whole story. Didn't believe it, didn't want to believe it. Called the ex. She said he was a liar. He was in school with me the first time because she had to quit the school and go back to it. Found out that it was all actually true. And her best friend came over and said, in this fiction story, "Kevin, you're here, you're raising the baby alone, you're doing a perfect job, and your wife's fucking around on you. I can't hold it in anymore." And she spilled her guts right in front of me. So, yeah, that was the whore. And that was just the beginning, man. Tell me this, Val, do you have kids? Teddy Miller, are you talking about the constable? Yeah, I had some experiences with him. He probably remembers me. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're talking about the constable there. Can I tell you a true story about him, Paul? So we had some legal issues going on, and I was about to file for divorce. So he came over to see me, and you're not going to believe this, but he said there were a couple of DVDs there that I swear to God were not mine. They were my ex's, and one of them was gay guys, okay? Guys, I'm hetero, and I can't enjoy the activity between gay guys. I can enjoy activity between gay women. I think there's a certain innocence to it, and it's, there's something very pretty. It's just a lot of beauty in one frame of video. But when I see two guys going, there's something that feels unnatural about that to me, okay? So he sees these DVDs sitting there and says, "Hey, would you mind if I borrowed these?" Yeah, true story. And here I am talking to a constable, basically the sheriff of Island Pond, an elected position. And I said, "Sure, Teddy, why don't you go ahead and take those with you?" I couldn't believe it. He brought them back 2 weeks later. Said, "Thanks." Yeah. Well, You know, if guys are gay, that's fine, but I can't watch it and enjoy it. In fact, I've never seen any gay porn because I can imagine, and it just doesn't do it for me. Maybe some guys dig that. I don't know. But gay women, that's cool. I think it's, you know, there's a whole lot of emotion, and what is it about women? They're more sensual than men. You know, they get in touch with their emotions and their bodies all at once. That's a beautiful thing. Men, we really can't do that. We can give you the emotion, and we can give you the body. We have problems combining them. Told women like gay porn. My ex did anyway. I've heard that, man. I've heard that females do tend to like male gay porn, and I can't understand why that would be. It doesn't make sense to me. Maybe somebody can explain it to me. I think most men have the same feelings regarding lesbian films versus gay men. I think so too. I mean, I realize that an open-minded 2014 adult male in America would not be completely opposed to watching gay male porn if it was something that someone that was with him wanted to see. You know, for me, it just seems very unnatural. I don't understand. To me, the more opposite you are of your partner, the bigger and better the explosion is. Okay? Bigger guy, smaller girl. Deeper voice, higher pitched voice. She's worried about the nails, you're worried about driving nails. It's that polar opposite type of characteristic thing with two people that when they come together makes the best explosion ever. So when I see two exactly alike, I think to myself, that's something's wrong there. It doesn't look right. And yet in their minds, it's exactly right. So I don't know. I mean, I accept it. I wouldn't watch it for pleasure. I couldn't, you know. Kevin, this is off topic, but did you ever have any experience? Oh, you already said that. Y'all are saying yes, but I don't know what you're saying yes to because I've already forgotten what I said. Wow, really good story. Ted, oh, he got run out of town, did he? That doesn't surprise me. Okay, yes, so you have a kid. Okay, Valerie, stick with me here, okay? I'm talking about a fictional story. So you're in the car. You're with your relatively new husband. You're a fairly negative person, but he doesn't know yet that you're a psychopath. Just stick with me here. So your 6-month-old daughter, who is the most precious thing you've ever seen in your life, is crying quite a bit in the car. And Paul can tell you, if you want to get anywhere up there, if you want to go shopping at all and you live in Island Pond, you're going to go to Newport or you're going to go down to friggin' New Hampshire to get to the Walmart, okay? So there's a lot of car travel time. I mean, I used to have to go to St. Johnsbury just to go to a gym. So that's 20 miles or so. So your 6-month-old daughter's doing a lot of crying. She's fussy. Maybe she's got a rash or something going on. Your wife, you being the wife, carry her upstairs and you look at your new husband and you say, and I think I can quote, "Take this fucking baby before I throw her through the fucking wall." Unquote. Now, at this time, the lady's holding the baby up at over her head level. And you see in her eyes that she wasn't joking. How do you feel about that? What kind of woman does that? Or, in this fictional story, this woman also gets in a fist fight with her brother while holding a then 8-month-old infant. Yeah, thinks nothing about it. You know. Anyway, I could talk about that kind of shit all day long. Let me tell you one more thing since we're talking about it. And we're going freestyle now. When I left the state of Vermont in this fictional story, I didn't feel comfortable because, see, I'd never been away from my daughter. Here she is, 2.5 years old or so. I'd never been away from her for more than 24 hours at a given time since the day she was born. So I made an agreement that I was moving and I was going to be taking her with me, so I would leave her with her mother for 6 weeks. That was something I talked with my lawyer about. She said it would be a good move. You go down, you get settled back in Virginia, and then you come back and get your daughter, and we do the final court case and all that. So I wasn't feeling comfortable with it. So I did what I'd never done before and haven't done since. I hired a private investigator. Gave him some money and said, "Listen, I'm not looking for trash. I'm not looking for garbage on my ex. I just would like to know that somebody I can trust has checked up. So I'd like to get you doing a little bit of observation for however much work this much money will buy," and I gave him a few $100. "I just need to know from someone I can trust that things are going well." So what does he do in this fictional story? goes into the woods with the guy she's then living with that was about to marry. That would have been her third husband, I think. And here's the little girl in the house screaming and crying. I don't know why. He doesn't know why. The mother's outside smoking a cigarette, ignoring the screaming and crying, ignoring it. And he got it on film in this fictional story. And the guy in this fictional story happens to have that film, as well as the written report from this private investigator, in his parents' garage right now in this fictional story. So I get a report from a private investigator, this fictitious person, saying that my daughter, who could have been bleeding to death, could have broken arm, who knows, is inside the house screaming to the top of her lungs, is the way he worded it. Yeah, really, Andrew. And the mother, who can hear this clearly because he can hear it, and he's 20 yards away, doesn't do anything. Just stands out there and keeps smoking her cigarette for like 6 more minutes. How was I supposed to feel about that? And do you know we didn't even bring that up at the divorce? Didn't even bring it up. Didn't even bring it up. Because my attorney was convinced that we needed to take the high road, that she would engage in the attacks and we wouldn't. And I ended up losing. Taking the high road didn't work. And my attorney told me after it was all over, you have the wrong genitalia. I don't think you ever were going to win this case. So, of course, I appealed and took it to the Supreme Court. And I lost again. You know, there was no chance. There was no chance. Anyway, in a state like New Jersey, that same piece of land would be about $16,000. Yeah, it's pretty cheap up there. I'll guarantee you Paul's heard of this place. You know, my first job when I got up to Vermont, Paul, was at Owl Snowmobile. I worked in IT there. You know, it was IT. There was only, 8 people working for the company, so it's, doesn't really sound like you need an IT department, but it was me and one other guy. Yep. Okay, so we're keeping it freestyle. We need to talk about the news. If you guys want to talk about Kratom some more, we can do that as well. I did draw some people in here from the Facebook page that might be interested in the Kratom. So let's touch a little bit on this Kratom article from the Forbes guy. And this is one of the things that I think everybody needs to know. Many readers were critical, he says, of the implication that Kratom might be like the new bath salts, the synthetic medley of drugs that until recently could be legally purchased in most states. Though I mentioned in the article that Kratom is not new and that Kratom and bath salts are not the same substance and aren't even in the same category of substances, many readers told me that I'd fostered guilt by association. And I think he did in that article. And that's why people were trying to, compare the two. And they're not even semi-related. The article's already had over 47,000 views, and he wrote this right after he wrote the article, so there's much more than that now. He said almost all of the emails he received were in support of Kratom. So I need to go ahead and tell you, my show's not big enough to worry about this, but as a disclaimer, I can't recommend you do anything without the consent of your doctor. You know that. You know the deal. Don't take anything. I'm telling you now. But it's something you may want to read about. And it says here, to be clear, Kratom is entirely legal in the U.S. Selling, buying, and using it is just as legal as selling, buying, or eating a slice of apple pie. He used it for different stuff. In March of 2013, he wanted to put an update to his situation on the Daily Brain, and I think he did, so I'll share that article as well real quick. This is essentially the add-on because Forbes didn't want to continue this like a serial story. They gave him the one article shot, and he wanted to follow it up himself. So I'm giving you the second part of his Kratom experiment right now. And that's from daviddesalvo.org, The Daily Brain, and I'll post that link on the Facebook page as well. Can I do it in a response? Yeah, sure can. No, not that one. There we go. And this is a continuation of the first one to give you a more complete view. Let's see what you guys are talking about in the chat room. I don't know. I don't know, Paul. I haven't heard of that one.